Hello, everybody, and happy Thursday. I am meteorologist Sam Kenny, and let's go ahead and first talk about what is currently going on in the tropics. Where are our current threats right now in the tropics? So, believe it or not, we are still dealing with post-tropical cyclone Ida. For those of you who all remember it made landfall as a major Category 4 hurricane there in southeastern Louisiana with maximum sustained winds of 150 miles an hour, knocked out power to millions, and unfortunately took the life of one person. It raced all along the whole entire United States eastern coast, brought several inches of rain to New York City last night, unfortunately killed over 9 people, and even as people were walking out the door this morning, they were still dealing with very heavy rain from Ida across portions of New England. But thankfully, as we head over the rest of today, it will continue to race off to the northeast and then eventually become no more of a threat to the United States at all. Invest 91L is currently sitting in the Western Caribbean, only has about a 10% chance of development. If it does develop anywhere, it's going to be somewhere in this general area right here. But long story short, is absolutely no threat to the United States at all. Hurricane Larry formed this morning as a Category 1 hurricane with maximum sustained winds of 80 miles an hour, and this system has the potential to become a major hurricane over the next 3 to 5 days. Here's the latest enhanced satellite imagery of Hurricane Larry, and this shows you where the biggest thunderstorms right now are firing up in and around the center. All those white areas and those very black areas, those are the biggest thunderstorms that we can physically see on our satellite imagery. It's trying to form somewhat of an eye wall, but let me tell you, as we head over the next 3 to 5 days, we're going to be watching the system become very more well-defined and also become a lot stronger. Here's the latest advisory on Hurricane Larry from the National Hurricane Center. Its current location is 13.3 north, 33.4 west. Maximum sustained winds around the center around 80 miles an hour with a low minimum pressure of 985 millibars, and is racing off towards the west at about 22 miles an hour. So here we are, Category 1 hurricane strength in between 74 and 95 miles an hour. As we head over the next 2 to 3 days, we're going to be watching the system go into Category 2, 3, maybe even into Category 4, all right? So as we wake up tomorrow morning, now we're looking at a Category 2 hurricane with winds around 100 miles an hour. As we head into tomorrow night, now we're looking at a major Category 3 hurricane with winds around 115. Sunday morning, we're still looking at a major Category 3 hurricane with winds around 125. And then we potentially can make it up to Category 4 strength with winds around 130. And then we might see a small decrease in strength going into Tuesday morning with winds around 125. Now, before I go any further, let me get something straight. Even though all the model guidance has it going somewhere in this general area, it is by no means out of the question for it to shift a little bit more westward and go closer to the eastern coast. It can go more southwestward and then eventually head into the Gulf of Mexico, or it can stay on this track and then eventually head into the North Atlantic Ocean, okay? Everything is still on the table, and let me tell you, if we see a little bit more shift towards the west, everybody here along the eastern coast, going from Georgia, the Carolinas, Florida, Virginia, the Mid-Atlantic, and then eventually into the Northeast, if we see that shift a little bit more towards the west, everybody on the eastern coast has to be watching the system extremely, extremely closely, because this has the potential to be a major Category 4 hurricane that could potentially bring very, very bad impacts to the eastern coast. However, if we see it stay more towards the east and then eventually just diminish out in the Atlantic, we may not see anything at all, okay? So everything is still on the table with Larry that we have to watch very, very closely over the next 3 to 5 days, all right? Let's stop talking about the tropics and currently talking about what is going on today. Here is what is left of post-tropical cyclone Ida. We now have a cold front on the back of it that goes into the Carolinas, a warm front that will bring a lot of rain to this island. And then we also have a very strong ridge of high pressure that will eventually head into the Mid-Atlantic as we head into tomorrow. And continuing to talk about tomorrow, here we go. This area of high pressure pushes this cold front out of the way. This dominating ridge of high pressure will work its way into place, and this will dry up any moisture that was brought in by Ida, okay? So any moisture that was in this general area that was brought by Ida, as soon as this ridge of high pressure dominates this area, it is going to dry up anything in the atmosphere that could potentially lead to very hot temperatures and also very high heat indexes, and we could potentially be looking at fall-like weather as we head over the next 2 to 3 days, all right? Here's a look at the weather for today. Our dew point is going to be around 50. Our humidity is going to be around 50%. Our heat index is going to be feeling less, maybe around 80 to 85. And last but not least, because All these factors pitching in together, it'll make our temperature feel like it is in the 70s, potentially even in the 80s. That is so much better than seeing temperatures in the 90s to 100s. We're going to be down to the 70s and 80s. This is an absolute blessing from God that this ridge of high pressure is coming in and saving us from all of this heat and humidity that we have been experiencing over the last 3 to 5 days because of Ida bringing in all that moisture from the Gulf of Mexico and North Atlantic. All right, so that is it for today. Please be sure to visit my website above at liamsweather.org. Be sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. You turn on that notification bell so that way whenever I post videos, you always get notified. Also, be sure to click that like button if you are enjoying the content. And here's my social media. I am on Twitter at LiamsWeather621. I am on Instagram at Liam Kenny. And then last but not least, I am also on Facebook at Liam Kenny. All right, that is the end of today's video. Thank you all so much for watching and have a great rest of your Thursday.